Imagine a world without cars. No sleek Ferraris or growling Lamborghinis. Not even a trusty Toyota Corolla. That's right, nothing. For centuries, that was the reality. People walked. Everywhere, rich or poor, it didn't matter. Now, a quick trip to the bakery down the street, that's no biggie. But a journey across town, talk about a workout. And forget about carrying heavy bags. Public transport was available, but it was often unreliable and overcrowded. Imagine squeezing into a rickety, horse-drawn carriage. Not exactly a luxurious ride. The smell alone would knock you sideways. And if you think modern traffic is bad, try navigating through a sea of horses and carts. It was chaos on wheels. As cities grew, so did the need for better transport. People were flocking to urban areas for work and opportunity. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, and factories needed workers, but getting around was a major headache. Something had to change. The world was changing. People craved faster, more efficient ways to travel. Little did they know a revolution was about to take place, a revolution on wheels. But forget about roaring engines and breakneck speeds. This revolution was about to introduce a new concept, paying someone else to drive you around. That's right, folks. The age of the taxicab was about to dawn, and what a dawn it would be. No longer would people be at the mercy of unpredictable horses and unreliable carriages. The future of urban transport was about to arrive, one fare at a time. The year 1900. A new century was beginning. The 20th century promised excitement and innovation. The world was on the cusp of incredible technological advancements. Think electricity, telephones, and you guessed it, automobiles. But these early cars were a far cry from the vehicles we know today. They were expensive, unreliable, and difficult to operate. Owning a car was a luxury reserved for the wealthy. For the average person, getting around still meant walking, cycling, or relying on horse-drawn carriages. Public transportation was improving, but it was often crowded and inconvenient. Something had to change. Cities were growing at an unprecedented rate. People needed a reliable, efficient way to navigate the urban sprawl. Little did they know the answer was just around the corner. Enter Gottlieb Daimler, a German engineer with a passion for innovation. Daimler, along with his business partner Wilhelm Maybach, had already made significant contributions to the development of the internal combustion engine. They were pioneers in the fledgling automotive industry. Daimler had a vision. He believed that the automobile could revolutionize transportation, making it more accessible and efficient for everyone. But he knew that cars wouldn't become truly practical until they were available to the public, not just the wealthy elite. So Daimler set his sights on creating a new type of vehicle, a motorized carriage for hire. A vehicle that could navigate the busy streets of a city, picking up and dropping off passengers on demand. In essence, he envisioned the taxicab. Daimler's idea was revolutionary. It challenged the existing transportation paradigm, which relied on horse-drawn carriages and limited public transport options. His vision was about to change the way people moved within cities. In 1897, Daimler's vision became reality. He partnered with Friedrich Greiner, a German entrepreneur, to establish the Daimler Motor Company. Together, they created the world's first motorized taxi company, aptly named the Daimler Motorized Cab Company. Their flagship vehicle was the Daimler Victoria, a two-seater carriage powered by a rear-mounted engine. It was a far cry from the sleek modern taxis we're familiar with today, but in 1897 it was a marvel of engineering. The Daimler Victoria boasted a top speed of 18 miles per hour, which was quite impressive for the time. It featured a leather interior, a folding roof for those sunny days, and even a voice tube for passengers to communicate with the driver. The world's first taxicab service was launched in Stuttgart, Germany in 1897. It was an instant sensation. People were eager to experience this new form of transportation. The Daimler Victoria, with its innovative design and promise of a comfortable ride, captured the public's imagination. The arrival of the Daimler Victoria taxicabs on the streets of Stuttgart was a momentous occasion. Imagine seeing a motorized carriage sputtering and hissing, weaving its way through horse-drawn traffic. People would have stopped in their tracks, amazed by this futuristic contraption. The citizens of Stuttgart were quick to embrace this novel mode of transport. The taxicabs offered a level of convenience and speed that was previously unimaginable. No longer did people have to rely on slow, uncomfortable horse-drawn carriages or endure long walks across the city. The Daimler motorized cab company established designated taxi stands throughout Stuttgart, making it easy for people to hail a ride. The drivers, smartly dressed in uniforms, added an air of professionalism and sophistication to the service. The taxicabs quickly became a common sight on the streets of Stuttgart. They could be seen zipping around the city, carrying businessmen to meetings, shoppers to the market square, and tourists to the local attractions. The age of motorized personal transportation had begun. The Daimler motorized cab company introduced the Taximeter. Invented by Wilhelm. It calculated fares based on distance. This ended haggling over prices common with horse-drawn carriages. Mounted inside the cab, it symbolized fairness and transparency. Passengers saw fares in real time, ensuring fair charges. This innovation built trust in the taxicab industry. Standardized fares made rides accessible to more people. No longer a luxury, taxicabs became affordable for average citizens. The Taximeter, a German engineering marvel, ensured a reliable taxi industry. The success of the Daimler motorized cab company in Stuttgart did not go unnoticed. News of this innovative transportation service spread like wildfire throughout Germany. Entrepreneurs and investors rushed to establish their own companies. Taxicab services began popping up in major cities across Europe, from Paris to London, Berlin to Vienna. Motorized cabs became increasingly common. The taxicab phenomenon soon crossed the Atlantic, captivating the imagination of Americans. In 1899, the first taxicab company in the United States was established in New York City. The electric vehicle company introduced a fleet of electric-powered taxicabs, marking the beginning of a new era in American transportation. The arrival of taxicabs in American cities was met with both excitement and apprehension. Some saw them as a sign of progress and modernity, while others viewed them with suspicion, concerned about their safety and impact on traditional horse-drawn transportation. Despite initial reservations, taxicabs quickly gained popularity in the United States. The convenience and speed they offered were undeniable. As the taxicab industry grew, it spurred competition, leading to improvements in vehicle design, service quality, and affordability. Right then, let's climb aboard a Daimler Victoria, shall we? Imagine yourself in 1897. You need to get across town. Forget horses. You want to try this newfangled taxi thing. You hail a passing Victoria. The driver, in his smart uniform, tips his cap and opens the door. Inside, it's surprisingly comfortable. Leather seats, a bit cramped maybe, but hey, it's the future. The engine sputters behind you, a far cry from the silent electric cars of today. Off you go at a blistering, 18 miles per hour. The ride is bumpy, cobblestones rattling your teeth, but you're not complaining. You're overtaking horse-drawn carriages, their occupants staring in bewilderment. You feel like royalty, a king of the road in this motorized chariot. As you approach your destination, you glance at the taximeter. A fair price, no arguments, no haggling. You step out, feeling like you've just experienced the future of transport, and you know what? You're right. Section 2, Horses versus Horsepower, the rivalry on the streets. Now, this newfangled taxi business wasn't all plain sailing. Oh no, the horse-drawn carriage drivers, they weren't best pleased. Imagine their predicament, these petrol-powered upstarts muscling into their territory. There were standoffs, arguments, even the occasional exchange of whips and spanners. The horses, meanwhile, were less concerned with this new competition. They were more interested in trying to eat the Daimler Victoria's leather seats. But progress, as they say, waits for no man nor beast. The advantages of the taxicab were clear: faster, more reliable, and those taximeters, well, they didn't accept apples as payment. Slowly but surely, the horse-drawn carriage drivers had to adapt. Some embraced the new technology, becoming taxi drivers themselves. Others, well, they probably ended up driving those horse-drawn buses we still see today. The past, as they say, is another country. Section 3, navigating the urban jungle. Now driving a Daimler Victoria, it wasn't a walk in the park. No power steering, no GPS, no heated seats. These early chauffeurs, they needed to be tough. Imagine navigating those cobbled streets, dodging pedestrians, horses, and the occasional stray cow. No traffic lights, no road signs, just a chaotic free-for-all, drivers relying on their wits, a good map, and perhaps the occasional bribe to a friendly policeman. And if it rained, well, let's just say those leather seats got slippery. But these drivers, they were pioneers. They were the first to tame the urban jungle, to bring order to the chaos of the city streets. They were the forerunners of today's Uber drivers, only without the smartphones and the constant threat of a one-star rating. Section 4, the dawn of the professional driver. With the arrival of the taxicab, a new profession was born, the professional driver. No longer just a man with a horse, these chauffeurs, as they were known, were expected to be courteous, knowledgeable, and trustworthy. They needed to know the city like the back of their hand, able to navigate its labyrinthine streets with ease. They had to be able to handle their vehicles, these temperamental machines, keeping them running smoothly. And perhaps most importantly, they had to be able to deal with the public. Passengers, as we all know, can be a demanding bunch. From the chatty businessman to the lost tourist, the taxi driver needed the patience of a saint and the diplomacy of an ambassador. These early chauffeurs, they were the face of this new industry. They helped to shape its image, to build trust and confidence in this revolutionary mode of transport. Now, the taxicab wasn't just a plaything for the rich and famous, it was a game changer for the working class. Before taxis, getting to work was a nightmare, but with the taxi, a reliable, affordable option appeared. Factory workers, shop assistants, they could now get to work on time. The taxi was a lifeline, offering them precious time and energy. A taxi home meant safety and security. The taxicab transformed lives, opening up opportunities. From gas lamps to electric lights, taxis light up the night. As the sun set, cities flickered to life under gas lamps. A new breed of worker emerged, the night owl. Doctors, nurses, policemen, those who kept the city running. And who was there to get them around? The trusty taxi. Before taxis, navigating the city after dark was risky. But the taxi, with its bright headlamps, offered safety, a reassuring presence in the urban jungle. From gaslight to electric lights, the taxi was there, a constant companion in the urban night. A city's pulse, the rise of the taxi, the success of the taxicab wasn't just about practicality, it tapped into the city's rhythm. It became part of its heartbeat. Watch any city street and you see a constant flow. The taxi embodies that spirit, always on the move, ready for the next fare. It's a symbol of urban mobility. From the Daimler Victoria to modern cabs, the taxi has evolved. Its role in the city's lifeblood remains vital. Section 1, a legacy on wheels. So there you have it, the story of the taxicab. From those sputtering Daimler Victorias to today's sleek hybrid marvels, it's been quite a ride. We've seen how this simple idea, a motorized carriage for hire, changed the world one fare at a time. The taxicab, it wasn't just about getting from A to B. It was about freedom, about opportunity, about connecting people and places. It was about progress, about innovation, about humans' relentless drive to make life a little bit easier, a little bit faster, a little bit better. Remember those early chauffeurs navigating those chaotic streets with nothing but a map and their wits? They were pioneers, paving the way for a transportation revolution, and that revolution, it's still rolling on. Think about it. Every time you hail a cab, order an Uber, or hop into a lift, you're tapping into that legacy of ingenuity, of determination, of that simple but powerful desire to get where we need to go in comfort and style. Section 2, the road ahead. Now, the road ahead for the taxi industry, well, it's paved with both challenges and opportunities. We've got self-driving cars on the horizon, ride-sharing apps changing the game, and cities getting bigger and more congested by the day. But one thing's for sure, the need to get around, to connect, to explore, that's not going anywhere. And the taxicab, in whatever form it takes, will be there to meet that need. So next time you hop in a taxi, take a moment to appreciate its history. That little journey from your doorstep to your destination is a journey through time, a journey that began over a century ago with a German engineer, a motorized carriage, and a revolutionary idea. The road ahead might be uncertain, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be one heck of a ride. And as always, someone, somewhere, will be there to drive you.